Hi everybody and welcome to the Truck King YouTube channel. Today is exciting because we have the all-new 2021 Ford F-150. Now when you're the number one in the segment, you don't want to mess with a good recipe, and that's what Ford has done here. This still looks like an F-150 inside and out, but it has a ton of new features we have to talk about. Now I gotta let you know straight up, we only have this truck for 3 hours today. So we are just going to do a first look. We're gonna try to look at every single new thing on this Powerboost hybrid and let you guys know about it, and in the future we will do a full review, but for now let's dive into it. Okay, so everybody, we're zeroing out our trip right now. We just picked the truck up and we'll run it over our whole 3-hour test, and we'll let you know what kind of fuel economy we get once we're done. Yes, like I said off the top, we only have this truck today for 3 hours. We do appreciate Ford of Canada getting this truck to us, but we only have a couple hours, so we're going to try to hit all of the high points and show you guys all of the cool new features. Now, the truck we are in today is a Powerboost Hybrid Limited. So this is a top-of-the-line F-150. Every single feature is on this truck, including that new hybrid engine, and Dad has literally been in the driver's seat for about 10 minutes now, but I want to hear your initial impressions. So we're on the 401. What are you feeling?
Well, straight up, it's powerful. I got in here and just started, working that accelerator than normally I would, and it's jumping. So, I mean, I've had to back right off on my inputs. I can feel the torque increase in this engine, significant torque increase. The regenerative braking is good. It doesn't grip that much more than normal, which is nice because some vehicles I've been in with the regenerative, it tends to grab really hard. But this one is nicely put together. Other than that, you know what? It drives like a Ford. It's just fine. But the power stands out.
Okay. Well, those are straight up initial impressions, and as our 3 hours goes on, we will share way more with you. But right now, we got to start diving into all the features on this truck, and let's do it.
Okay, so now we're at the business end of the truck, and frankly, Pro Power on board in this 21 Ford is a big deal. It's particularly a big deal because this tailgate is doing exactly what you and I have been doing for, depends how old you are, me, over 40 years. We've been using it like a workbench, but being able to plug the power tools in here, now that's something new. So you'll excuse me, but I'm going to read this off of the sheet because there's frankly too much here for me to remember. So this particular model that we've got here will put out as much as 7.2 kilowatts of power. That's a continuous use of over 7,000 watts. And this is optional, available on the higher trim levels. Now, there's also a 2.4 kilowatt setup, which is standard on the Powerboost. And then we get down to a 2 kilowatt setup, optional on 2.7 liter EcoBoost and 5 liter V8 and 3.5 liter EcoBoost. So you can take a look at what I've done here right now. Shop vac, compressor, circular saw, and of course a heater because it's freaking cold out here today. So we're going to turn all these things on here in a minute, and Steve can have a look at the screen inside because it actually shows you the power usage as it's going. So what are we waiting for? Let's have a look at that.
Let's crank it up. All right, hit your shop vac. All right, get the compressor on the go. And squeeze the saw for me.
So once again, workbench. Well, what do you want on a workbench? These days, this is a nice thing. A phone holder, a place where you can watch the YouTube video as you're fixing whatever you want. A place for pencils to sit so they don't slide off, bits and pieces, and a ruler, centimeters and inches. I mean, you just sort of sometimes you forget your tape measure, right? But the main thing is this is very, very tough. It looks tough, it's reinforced. And a really cool little item is this here. This is a cutaway, spring-loaded, so you can shove a C-clamp in there, which is exactly what I've done over here. This is something that's just neat. So, we're gonna have a look at, oh yeah, what else we're gonna have a look at?
The tie downs.
Oh, the tie downs, yeah, okay. There's also 2 metal tie downs on either side. This is something new, and this kind of speaks to some of that stuff that you put over onto the tailgate, and it gives you a spot in the back here, either where you're holding down materials or, for that matter, a longer ATV.
All right, well, why don't you show us how the C-clamp works?
Look, son. Look, Steve, because you've never actually done any of this before. See? Look. Woo!
All right, well, let's see you cut.
Okay. Skill saw engage. Ooh.
It just happened again, and there's the orange light blinking. See, the orange light is blinking now? It's not happy about something. Well, it seems like the skill saw was actually enough to overcome. Well, that worked well.
Yep. Now, there's something that I didn't mention, and this is very important, particularly because it's freezing out here today. All of the power numbers that Ford quotes are based on an ambient air temperature of 86 degrees Fahrenheit, which would roughly be 31 Celsius. So today we're below freezing, and I'm not sure how much that cuts the power by, but I'm gonna guess maybe 50%. So if somebody knows better how to figure out that sliding scale, let me know. But so if you see those numbers, don't think that that's going to be working for you up in Fort McMurray in January. So more and more of us spend time working in the truck, and to that, Ford has given us a shifter that lays flat, which then lets us open up this nice flat work surface. Even in the Limited, this is a $200 option, so just be aware of that. So this is where you can get all your paperwork done, but more importantly than that, once the paperwork is done, you can actually use these fold flat seats. These actually not only recline, but they'll kick up in the middle to give you a nice flat bed. And frankly, usually around after lunch, I need a nap anyway. And it's fairly comfortable. And this will cost you $500 even on the Limited. So just keep that in mind, but kind of nice. I like it. So a couple of things to point out which are not necessarily new, but they continue to be good in this segment, is this flat floor that Ford has in the back here. Great for getting stuff in so it doesn't get hooked up on those humps or other bumps that you still find in some of the other trucks. Now, down here on the floor, we also have this divider, and this is strictly for groceries. This is for throwing your bags in, and it stops you for oranges from rolling all over the truck. However, you're not getting your shotgun in here because it's not deep enough, but that's not the point. The point actually is that this truck is good for everything and for everybody in the family, such as the center console, where you see that, yeah, you get heated seats in the back now, plus you got the plug-ins, all the different types of plug-ins to keep the kids' devices going and charged and keeping them quiet.
Let's go through this pretty nice looking info cluster screen right now on the F-150. So first, it's controlled by these buttons. And let me quickly say here, it's a bit of a busy steering wheel. There's a lot of buttons on the steering wheel, a lot of stuff going on. So using these buttons over here, we can control it. And let me show you what it has. So you can have the trip mode. Of course, you can have this trip, which is your current or 1 and 2. And these things are cool for a hybrid. So this will show you exactly what your eco behavior is. Your EV coach will help you to drive in the most fuel efficient way possible. And then the driver assistance is more about adaptive cruise and stuff like that. So next we have truck info. And it's not kidding. It has a ton of different information that it's offering up to you. So power distribution, that's going to show you exactly which wheel is getting power. I mean, that one's self-explanatory. Seatbelts. This will show you whose seatbelt is on or not. Man, this thing just has so much information. There's your off-road inclinometer and back to power. So let's go back again. And what's next? Next we have our towing screen. Now we don't have a trailer on right now, but if we did, this would be able to check our lights for us, so it knows, so it just dumped us right out of there. Next you have navigation, again self-explanatory. Oh cool, my home button, so you can just hit it right off the bat to jump home. We'll keep on going. You got your phone, audio for your radio, and then your different settings. So quickly let's just go into settings, because there's always different things you can do here. And that's the beauty of these screens. They're totally customizable. So, you know, if you do go up into configure, you can change what the gauges look like, left to right, right to left. And yeah, that just means that, that's so cool. You can add your turbo boost. It means that you can see the information that you want to see. Not only does this thing offer a ton of info, but it looks really, really nice. And next we have the screen over here in the center stack. So this is a 12-inch screen, but unlike other manufacturers, Ram being the other one in pickup trucks, Ford has gone portrait, or I guess I should say landscape, rather than portrait, so horizontal rather than vertical. I don't notice a huge difference right off the bat, but I will say that this screen looks beautiful, and same thing, offers all kinds of great information. So we can just scroll through everything here. There's your navigation. Your Pro Power on board is interesting. We actually have the truck in generator mode right now, and this will show you how much power the things back there are actually drawing, which is pretty cool. Now, apps, you can get all kinds of different apps for this truck. In the settings, you have, again, so many different things that you can adjust. You should be able to scroll over. Here we go. I'll show you the seats really quickly. Yes, these seats can massage you. And look at all the different massage functions you have now. Ford has really added quite a few here. There they are. Look at all those different massages you can get from this F-150. That is pretty impressive. Now we can go over to the features tab. And again, these ones are pretty neat. So Pro Power on board, I showed you that. That will show you how much power is being drawn. Zone lighting, guys, this is really amazing. This truck has spotlights all the way around at 360, and you can control them from here in the cab. So look at that. I can tell you which zone I want to be lit up. And there's all zones are now lit up around the truck. Once again, a super cool feature for when you're out there working at night and you need to light up around you. Now we can go back. Towing, all kinds of different towing apps in here. You can add your trailer, have specific settings for that specific trailer. Pro Power, or Power Running Board, sorry. These are your settings for your Power Running Board. There is a switch, a physical kick switch on the running board, and if you hit that, it will come out. And then maybe one of the most interesting ones, the owner's manual. Yes, for this 2021 F-150, there is no more paper owner's manual. The entire owner's manual is going to be right here. And here's what's cool about having a digital owner's manual. It comes with all these videos. So not only do you get written, but you can actually watch these videos from Ford showing you different things. This is called the courtesy wipe. I'm not even sure what exactly that is.
I just washed my windows. Why are my wipers wiping again?
The wipers on your vehicle have an interesting feature that you might not know about. To help get rid of the excess water that runs on your windshield after a wash, they give you an extra wipe a few seconds after washing.
So there you go, you guys get the point. But it's just really interesting that Ford decided to do that. No more paper owner's manual in the glove box, it's all in here. And I think my only complaint about it right off the bat is you can't access it while you're driving. And I can't count the amount of times where I've looked to my passenger, usually my wife, and said, hey, look in the owner's manual and check something out for me. So it's a little annoying that you can't get to it while you're driving. And then finally, power flow, and this is showing you where your power is coming from. So right now we are idling, and right there, that's the battery pack. The battery pack on this truck is sandwiched back there between the frame rails, and it's only using the battery pack right now. We were driving earlier and I shot it though, and I can show you, it will actually tell you where the power is coming from and why it is using engine power. So if the engine's on, it's going to tell you it's on because the heater's on or because you're driving and you need the power. Very interesting to give you that info. Now finally, the last thing we got to touch on is this panel over here. So this panel is totally customizable as well. You can see all the options here. So you can have a phone, your eco driving coach, pro power, your zone lighting, your audio, navigation. Again, customizable screens make this truck or any vehicle with them totally tailored to what you want. So in terms of technology up here for the driver and passenger, this 2021 F-150 is seriously impressive. So now you guys have seen all those features. We're back out here driving. We're actually on our way back to return this Ford. Like I said, only 3 hours today, so this is a short look at the truck. But we got to talk more about this Powerboost hybrid. Just the numbers: 430 horsepower, 570 pound-feet of torque. This thing is an absolute power monster, and the fact that you have that hybrid, the electrification component, just means there's no lag, right, Dad? You put your foot into it, it's right there.
That's what I felt from the first minute that I was driving. It was, yeah, boy, it did. What a kick in the pants.
Exactly. So what's making that all happen is a 1.5 kilowatt-hour battery pack. Now that's actually sandwiched back there, sort of between the frame, or between the bed and the cab. And another good thing with the packaging on a truck is that nothing changed. You don't lose any rear seat space, you don't lose any bed space, so the battery's packed in there nicely. And then the other part of this is a 35 kilowatt, which is 47 horsepower, a 47 horsepower electric motor, and they've actually incorporated it into the 10-speed. So the 10-speed automatic has that electric motor right built into it, and it just, from behind the wheel anyways, yeah, it comes across like such a nice, smooth system, and nothing that makes it weird to drive, out of the ordinary to drive, anything like that. So if you've owned an F-150 in the past, this really won't be all that different.
That's my 2 cents, which is, if I didn't see the gauges and the power outputs, it would take me a while to figure out that there was really anything different about this vehicle, other than the fact that I definitely feel the power.
Now, the other thing Ford did with the hybrid is they didn't make it the fuel economy special, you know, low power kind of truck. They made this the most powerful F-150 ever, and they also gave it a pretty good tow rating. If you go for a 2-wheel drive hybrid, you're going to be able to pull up to 12,700 pounds with the max tow package. Add 4-wheel drive, that drops to 12,400 pounds. And then in our truck today, we actually don't have that max tow package. It's one of the few things we don't have, which means this truck, a 4x4 hybrid, can tow 11,000 pounds. So even the least capable hybrid is doing 11 grand, which, you know, is serious amount of weight. And we're not towing anything today, but again, based on the way the power is delivered, it's probably going to have no issue with that trailer.
I'm looking forward to that. And the other thing is, I want to see how much the consumption goes up when you're towing. So that's something to look forward to.
Absolutely. And you might be wondering what the payload is on this truck. Actually, a really respectable 1,324 pounds. I expected it to be lower, considering that the hybrid powertrain would have added a lot of weight, but honestly, 1,324 is pretty good. The other thing you got to talk about when driving this truck are all the driving modes now. So here on this Limited, we have all kinds of things. You can see them here. And not only are the drive modes cool, but look at these graphics. The graphics have come such a long way that when you change up the drive mode, you get those super cool little animations. Plus, pay attention, even the gauges change. So when you're in a different drive mode, you're going to have a unique look to everything on that screen. Yeah, again, little things, but I think that's pretty neat. And now, kind of expanding on that, let's just talk about this interior in general. So I'll say it again, we are in the Limited, top of the line truck. This has all the features. And the thing I noticed right away, attention to detail with the materials. There's this really nice kind of fake carbon fiber, it could even be real, I'm not sure, right in front of me on this glove box. Right above it, you have stitched leather. Around this screen, you have this super cool textured kind of plastic right next to this smooth plastic. Having all these different materials and having them all kind of work together in unison really makes this truck look like it's top of the line luxury. What does it all cost? Well, if you go for this Limited model, as you see it here today with the options that are on it, you're going to be shelling out MSRP of $94,500 Canadian, or in the United States, this truck as it sits will sell for just about $79,500. So if you are going for a top trim F-150, you're definitely going to be paying for it. All right, Dad, we're just pulling in to return the truck right now. And let's go ahead and take a look at the fuel economy. Boom! 9.6 liters per 100 kilometers. That was 30 kilometers here, and that's a mix, actually. That's a couple K on the highway, a couple in the city. That's an interesting number right there. It actually tells you exactly how many electric kilometers you traveled, which is pretty neat as well. Now, Dad, if you want to scroll up one, we can go to trip 1. Now, this is from when we picked up the truck, 13.2 liters, 2 hours and 40 minutes. This includes the time the truck was acting as a generator. So if you consider that, 13.2 actually seems pretty decent.
So just my thoughts from this very quick 3-hour review. I've been in every new generation of Ford going back, well over 25 years. And a couple of things stand out to me. One is that the F-150 is a very good truck, and each time there's a generational upgrade, what I'm actually concerned with is that they don't screw it up, let alone what new stuff they want to put into it. And sometimes the new stuff is a little bit gimmicky. However, Pro Power on board, no, that's a big deal. That's actually a feature that everybody is going to copy. You heard it here first, because it's really, really useful. And it's not just because you're a contractor. I can't even think of the multiple ways
tailgating,
that having that power available to you at any place in a mobile setting. What a big deal that is. That's as a big a deal as when we first got battery operated power tools and you had to dump your extension cord. So that's my big takeaway from this initial drive. Steve, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm feeling the same way. The workstation in here is kind of cool, but not a huge deal. I could just write on the console, right? The tailgate back there, though, that's really neat. Little things that make a big difference, I think, when you're working with this truck. But I guess my biggest takeaway is I can't wait to get this truck onto our test facility with our trailers and our payload and do a proper Truck King test. Sorry we couldn't bring that to you today, but like we keep saying, Ford of Canada only had a couple hours with the truck. I'm just happy we could show it to you. So guys, I think that's it for this one. Of course, we want to hear your questions and comments, so go below. Let us know what you think of this 2021 F-150. By now, you've seen them. Truck King toques, they are on sale. Go below and get one for yourself right now. And you know what? Make sure you come back to the channel to see what we're testing next. See you guys.
Bye now.